Everyone, this is Maddie. I'm out in my backwoods. I'm here with Dr. Jane Disney. She is the director of the Community Environmental Health Lab at the Biolab, and also my mother. So she's here to teach us a little bit about vernal pool ecosystems today.
Some people think that's a vernal pool, but it's not really. It's going to dry up so fast, nobody's going to use it to lay eggs.
Oh.
Here we are. One of my favorite vernal pools.
So Jane, I'm looking at this here, and to me it looks like a pond. How is a vernal pool different than a pond?
Oh, there's a lot of differences between a vernal pool and a pond. You see, the vernal pool isn't going to be full of water like this all season. Eventually it's going to dry up. And very different water creatures live in ponds versus vernal pools. So in ponds you might find fish and animals that need to live all their lives in water, but in the vernal pool you have some animals that can lay their eggs, like frogs, like salamanders, and then later, after the eggs hatch and the tadpoles grow up, then they go back on land. And so they're not so dependent on this being full of water all summer long. Not only do frogs and salamanders live in vernal pools, but there's these very magic little creatures that live there called fairy shrimp. And fairy shrimp don't live anywhere else but in vernal pools, and people rarely see them. You can't always find them in vernal pools, but if you see them, you're having a very special day. There's all kinds of interesting plants around vernal pools. These are plants that really love the water. So first of all, we have all of these mosses, lots of different types.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then right at the edge here, you can't believe it, but we have these little, see the red leaves on these? These are cranberry plants. And we actually get little bog cranberries out here. You know, some people think that every time a tree falls down like this, they have to cut it up and clean it out. But actually, this is providing shade in the pool for the little amphibians and the eggs. And also, the frogs like to lay their eggs to attach to something. So a lot of these branches that fall in the water have egg masses attached to them. You don't want to cut these trees out of your vernal pool. Egg masses are often laid on a piece of grass or a stick.
Yeah. Oh wow. What's going on in there?
Well, there's a lot of embryos in there. Look at them.
Oh, they're ready to hatch.
They are. Yep. And they'll have this whole egg mass to eat. This gelatin-like substance. Look at them wiggling. They are so interested in getting out in the world. Come on.
Close up of two little eggs that got separated from their mass. Do you see the little tadpoles in there? Wow.
They're amazing. Well, there's efforts to protect vernal pools in general because vernal pools are rare and very important habitat. So there's a woman at the University of Maine, her name is Dr. Aram Calhoun, and she has done a lot in the state of Maine to protect vernal pools. People aren't allowed to fill them in and build on top of them, and they're not even allowed to put a building within 75 feet of a vernal pool, all because of the good scientific work she did to document the really important vernal pools, to create maps, and to get some laws passed to help protect them. A few years ago, there was a big citizen science effort to document all of the really important vernal pools. Of course, people didn't know which ones were important and which ones weren't. So they had to go out and they had to measure the size of them and keep track of them through the season and see how long they had water. They had to count all the different masses of eggs in there to see how many creatures were really using the pool, and there were certain definitions that were put in place to determine that this one is really important. There's so many animals using it. Well, you should do your mapping during the wet season. As a matter of fact, I know about a recent development that's being planned, and the developers did their vernal pool assessment in February when it was all under snow. And so how could they tell how many eggs were going to be using it or what? So you definitely have to come out in the spring and take a look when you can really see what's going on.
Can you tell us about this? What is this?
It's a caddisfly larvae. And I don't know if you can tell, but he's taken little teeny bits of stems and built a little house for himself. Inside the little hole in the middle there,
Yeah.
there's a little creature in there. I wish he would come out.
Oh my goodness.
It's a water insect that's going to later metamorphose into a fly called a caddisfly. Now listen, some flies called stone flies use little pebbles to make houses. And people sometimes will collect the little stone houses after the stone fly emerges and turns into a fly, and then they make jewelry out of it. The sticky is so hard that they can actually make little stone necklaces out of the casings, and they're really cute. And earrings. Look at this. How would this look for an earring? Would that be a cute little earring?
Well, since there's a living creature in that one still, maybe we should put him back in the pond.
We'll put him back in the water. Yeah. And it's the kind that uses leaves to make its house.
It looks so different from the first one.
Yeah. It's like instead of like chunking little pieces around it this way, it's like putting it around them longwise. And look, he's actually, I don't know if you can zoom in, but he's actually moving around in there. Look at him.
So the sun just came out. Thank you for joining my mom and I. I'm glad that you got the chance to meet this amazing person and get to know a little bit more about my backwoods. And I'm excited for all of you to keep exploring, to start keeping a journal, and we're all going to tell each other about what is in our very own backyards. So thank you so much, Dr. Jane Disney.
Nice to be here.